सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं Hari Om. Yes, can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Yes, please. Anybody? We form the link and we can move ahead. Yes, please. Chaitanya ji. Yes, sir.
Uh, Last time Shri Krishna started saying that neither sages nor any gods know of my origin because I am Adi. They would only know from where they were manifested. Person who realizes his existence of Adideva or Parabrahma, he does not fall in trap of evil. And we said that evil is anything that basically stops us from progressing on our path. Knowledge, then he described different qualities of himself, that knowledge, intelligence, balance of mind, clarity, truth, control over mind and senses, forgiveness, joy, and sorrow. I mean, there are also, two opposite sides of things, like creation, destruction, fear or consciousness, and being fearless, charity, ahimsa. And he's saying that all of them are manifesting from me. So they all are manifestations of the divine. He also said that Saptarshi and Manu, they also came as manifestations of him. And basically, he said that those who are wise, they understand that he is everywhere, and he is there in birth, he's in growth, he's basically in everywhere. And that's why they are content, and they move in that bliss. They have that calmness within. He also promised that even if you don't have buddhi, I mean, I will still grant that. So yeah, Tadami Buddhi Yogam was I think what he was mentioning. Then yeah, those who are seeking yoga, I will grant them yoga and knowledge, and I will light that lamp inside them, which will actually make all the doubts disappear. So when he was continuing that, Arjuna started praising him that you are the supreme one, you are the Aditya or Parabrahma, and that's where I think we stopped, and we did not know what exactly Arjuna was going to ask after this.
Ji, absolutely, Chaitanya ji. Wonderfully said. So one aspect that we saw was the divine manifests through qualities. Through qualities, we can identify divinity as well, and Krishna gave a set of qualities. Sadhaks who are connected with the divine, they are always in that what we call laya. It's like they have what we say, this very good network which will not have interruptions, something like that with the divine. That is why it is said, Ramta Jogi or Behta Pani. Koi rok nahi sakta. That yogi who is in that laya of the divine and a stream that is flowing, nobody can stop their movement because they are in that oneness. So that is why such a person, such a yogi, wherever this person goes, wherever you will see that the mind of that person is connected with the divine or is able to connect with the divine even in the little things. Say, for example, making a chapati. Can you say anything, any action, anything divine in making an action of chapati? Anybody? What's divine in that? Anyone? How can we think of the divine? It's just roti, isn't it?
I think the action can be simple, but the bhav with which you do it, that I think makes it special.
Ah, yes, yes. And there was one Bahina Bai Chaudhary, an illiterate poetess of Maharashtra. She was a widow who didn't get a chance to go all across various pilgrimages. So what she did is she connected with the divine wherever she was. So one day while making, they used to make bhakar. Bhakar is something like a chapati. It's thicker. So she's Are Sansara Sansara. Oh, Sansara, you are like this bhakar only. Initially, you get burnt while making it. Your hands, everybody have got that, isn't it? While cooking, first your hands would have got singed a bit, somewhere, little bit. But afterwards, what happens? Then it becomes perfect. So look at this. It's little things you can connect with the divine. And she was one of the very great ones who later on, people did not realize her existence during her life. But afterwards, now people are in Yashwantrao Chauhan University, they are doing a PhD on her songs. Songs of an illiterate woman who was connected with the divine in a village, rural village. They would say, Mazi Maya Soro Suti Maza Shikavite Boli. My mother Saraswati teaches me the tongue, and she doesn't say Saraswati, she said Soroswati. Now, will mother get irritated because she has been called this way? Not at all, not at all. And the aspect of Dadami Buddhi Yoguntam, this is the best example. Someone who does not know, she says, Are for me, Vithala, Bhagwad Gita came from the soil as I worked in the fields. Or the wind that is going through the leaves, it's rustling. The rustling of the leaves is telling me of your coming and going of the divine. Now, what is this? This is the ekagrata. This is the chitta which is connected with the divine. And such a person, wherever this person goes, maybe Hiranyakashipu will get irritated. Why always talking about God? There is no God. But this person has no other option, isn't it? Because that is the lived experience of the individual. Everywhere the person begins to see the divine presence. And for such a person, faculties or maybe qualities which are not present, they start manifesting. This is one a very special aspect of sadhana. Newer qualities are born inside of an individual as one person goes ahead. And that is what we call grace. There's a beautiful Gita Dhyana mantra. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langhayate girim yat kripatam ham vande paramananda madhava. Mukam karoti vachalam. The dumb can begin to speak eloquently. Eloquently. Someone who is not capable, that person also is speaking eloquently. Panghum langayate girim. The one who is limping is now going climbing a big hill. Is going all the way to the top. How? Yat kripa tamaham mande paramananda madhava. That is where kripa functions. That is where the divine grace. And that divine grace is only a source of ananda. That is none other than madhava. That is an experience of many people. And that's what Krishna is saying. He says, I will give that understanding. It's all right if you do not have. We saw so many examples. Totakacharya, how was he? He was earlier different. But Guru Krupa made change. That's why it is a Dhyana Moolam, Guru Murtim, Puja Moolam, Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam, Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam, Guru Krupa. So one of the receive, one who will receive? Only who asks, isn't it? Only the one who seeks. So that connection must be there. If you want to receive something from the divine, you must be in a position to surrender to the divine. Create the vacuum inside for the rush and flow of what we call the divine thoughts, of the divine grace. All of these will not unless you are ready. You are ready as an instrument to receive. And that's something Krishna has really introduced to Arjuna. Arjuna probably seized onto it and suddenly feels we see a change in gears of Arjuna. He starts Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashwatam Divyam, Adideva Ajam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. You are the one, supreme, immaculate Brahman, the permanent one of the highest esteem. Thou art the divine Purusha, supernal God, unborn, thou art the all-pervading Lord. We all suspected Arjuna wants something, but we are not fully sure what he wants. So let us see. Ahustvam ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षि नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे. This the wisest of the sages have thus said. When thy words they have sought to spread, Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa, the seers have portrayed. And oh Lord, thou hast to me explained. He says, this, what I called you, Param Dhama, you are this Pavitra, all of this is not just my word. He says, this the sages have said. And he quotes all of them. He says, I have heard Narada, I have heard Asita, I have heard Devala, I have heard Vyasa. They have all talked about your glory. They have sung stutis about you when they sought to spread your words. Small question is, did any of them suddenly send him a message on a device that he is having right now? Or did they suddenly, excuse me, Krishna, I want to tell something to Arjuna, and suddenly Narada, Vyasa, did they tell him, or this was long back? Long back only. But now he is remembering. It's something like it had gone aside when he was having all those doubts, all the stutis which he had heard, they felt meaningless. Or maybe they did not come to the surface. Now they have come to the surface and he's saying, see, that is why they are all praying. That is all, that is why all have been praising you. He goes on, Sarvametad Nrutam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidurdeva Nadanava. Whatever it is spoken by thee from my mind, that is only the truth that can be. But, O Lord gracious, neither God nor Titan about thy manifestations can they enlighten. He says, now I have reached a point where what you say is my pramana. Means he is recognizing Krishna as the Shabda Pramana, an evidence. Anybody can give me an example of some Shabda Pramanas in your life whom you don't have to verify when they say something? Anybody? This person says it is truth. I don't have to, do a literature survey to confirm what is said by this person. Anybody? Any Shabda Brahmanas in our home or in our life? Yes? All of us, I think, grew up, isn't it? With some Shabda Brahmanas in their home only. Anybody?
Parents,
Yes,
teachers.
yes. Isn't it? Parents, definitely. My mother says I am your mom. Not say, mom, DNA certificate dikhana jara, verify karna. I'll get one big slap. Because this is something which I have recognized. And from the life experience that I have lived, so something called lived experience. From my lived experience, I have understood certain things. There are different people. Like for me, my guru. Guru's words I don't have to doubt. Interestingly, what my guru says, I find it in the Upanishads later on. Though I have not read the Upanishads initially, I remember first time, oh, what Damliji said is here. So it is only confirming. And that is why there are certain pramanas. And for Arjuna, Krishna has now become the Shraddha Sthana very clearly. He is not going to ask Krishna, how can I believe you? That was a different Arjuna. Something has happened, Arjuna says now. And he says he calls the word Ritam. Ritam is what? Nothing but the highest truth in the Rig Veda. Satyam, Ritam, Bruhat is the Trinity. Like Sat, Chet, Ananda, like that Satyam, Ritam, and Bruhat. This Ritam is the purest of truth consciousness. And it is said to be Bruhat like the sky. Why? Like it's like that. As you go deeper, the consciousness only widens. It becomes broad and broader. And he says, that is Vratam Manye, oh Krishna. He says, what you say, what your word. But he says, see, there is no Deva nor Danava who can talk about you. Because the divine is the origin of everything, isn't it? So they only know from their point of existence. But what was before, they do not know. And you are the one. You are the first one. So nobody will be able to perfectly describe you. It means even these Narada and Asita, Vyasa, all of them I am talking about, they are great. No doubt they are great. But they cannot fully describe you, is what he's saying. Then who can talk about you? We'll see next. Arjuna says, he says, स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्थ त्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावन भूतेश देव देव जगतपते. Another stuti says, O greatest supreme one, it is only thee who knows thyself completely. For all creations and beings, thou art the Lord, overlord of the worlds, even for the gods, thou art the God. Deva Deva Jagatpati. The same Arjuna, sometime back, Krishna was saying, I will give you that great secret, that great wisdom, which will make your doubts vanish. I will give you that wisdom, I'll give you that knowledge, which the ancient ones had also not fully understood. That time, Arjuna was like, Kuch bhi, I'm supposed to believe. You thought this Vivaswan. That was the Arjuna. And look at the Arjuna right now. He's saying, Oh, Deva, Deva, Jagatpati. Only you know about yourself. Can we say this when a person behaves absolutely differently? Can we say it is highly suspicious? Yes or no? In our life, what do we infer from it? Anybody? I think parents have seen their children. Suddenly, good boy, when good boy or good girl behavior is on, what do parents infer? Anybody?
दाल में कुछ काला है.
Dal mein kuch kala hai. But what do you think? What is that? They have some expectation, isn't it? Which
Correct.
is, it is going to come out. Abhi to nikla nahi hai. It is now just something is going to come out. And that is exactly what we see Arjuna saying in the next shloka. Because he says, Vaktum arhasi yasheshena divya hyatma vibhutayaha ya yabhir vibhutivir lokan imam stvam prab gam vyapya tishtasi. He says, I solicit ye to completely tell of all thy manifestations that in this world dwell, the richest of forms that the mortal realm has received, without exception, do reveal all that can be perceived. So all this was for this only. He said, you are Shabda Pramana, what you say I will believe. He says, now start telling me about all your Vibhutis, all your representations in this Srishti, in this Bhuloka. Tell me about all your forms. That is the reason Arjuna wants to know. Now the doubt is not there. He is now a sadhak, not a doubting Thomas. But he wants to know, and where can he get a better answer than from Krishna himself? So he says, Krishna, I recognize your divinity. Now please tell me about your forms. He says, Katham vidya maham yogims tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. How is it that I can unite and know thee by always meditating in all places upon ye? What are the embodiments that I should aspire to see? Which forms should be contemplated upon me? He says, how can I become one? Oh, Yogeshwara, you're talking about becoming one. These yogis become one. Tell me how I can become one with you. What are the forms? Should I aspire to see some specific form? Or should I always meditate everywhere that I'm going? What are the embodiments and what forms? Please, he's requesting him. He goes on further. And now we see this is actually what we can say Shraddha of Arjuna. It is not something which he is not having a bad agenda right now. He's very clear and straightforward. He just wants to understand. He says that's the only reason he's asking, he's requesting. Vistarenat manoyogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyah kadaya truptir hi shrunvato nasti memrutam. O Father of all peoples, lucidly please explain of your yoga and thy many forms that in this world reign. Eager I am to hear of your manifestations. More, the better. To my insatiable thirst, this is an immortal nectar. So that thirst has come. And when the thirst comes, then the sadhak does not. It is like, leave that. And we see in Arjuna, Krishna, I just want to hear from you. Just tell me, whom can I meditate upon? Your words directly from you. You are the Brahman for me. So whatever you say, that is only going to be the highest Rutam, the highest truth which I can understand. And for me, it is like nectar. For my ears, they are pining for it. Please give me that knowledge or share me something. Can I recognize you in this world? Now, isn't this a very practical question? Anybody? What Arjuna is asking. Shouldn't this also be our objective?
Yes.
Yes, isn't it? And it's very interesting that this is the first thing that Arjuna is asking for also. In the Gita, he's saying, please. Means he's forgetting his sorrow. He's having a great, horrible situation right now, actually. He's, he was almost in a state of depression. And look at the battle that he's facing ahead. It's going to be a gory battle. It's going to be a deadly battle against his own loved ones. But right now, Arjuna is able to detach from that situation. And in that detachment, he's saying, Krishna, tell me, give me that knowledge, give me that wisdom that I can recognize. And this is also a beautiful moment which is seen in the Upanishads also. First, recognizing the divinity in the world. If you don't recognize divinity in the world, where are you going to go to recognize divinity? Which Svargaloka are you thinking of when you are not able to identify Bhagwan in the Bhuloka? And Arjuna is practical. He says, no, I want to see here. Tell me. Ihaiva, here itself. Sri Aurobindo also says it is a terrestrial salvation that we are seeking. Not like in another plane, maybe another birth. No, ihaiva, in this birth we have to. Not aspiring for, come on, Bhagwan, give me 5 BHK in Svargaloka. I want it next to Chandraloka a little bit. There should be good transportation facilities. What is all of that aspiration when we are looking and denying this divinity in the world? That is something Arjuna has at least understood. One thing beautiful about Arjuna, if you see right from the beginning, is Yat Shreyaha Syana Nishchitam. What is Shreya? Tell me. He gives, Krishna tells everything and he says, no, tell me what is right, what is needed. That is sometimes more important than what is desirable. That is also the secret of Kathopanishad. Young Nachiketas understands what is Shreyas and what is Preyas. What is needed should always trump what is desired. Many times, what you desire is something, and what you need is not something you like. But at that time, also, you should go for that. And Arjuna says, tell me, please, please. Darshan do Bhagwan, darshan do Ghansham Nath, Mori Akhya Pyasi Re, something like that. He says, for me, darshan also is not required. Your words, just give me words. That Shruti is enough for me to connect, is what he says. Let us see. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Just one question to Karthik ji. So, if a child is behaving in a particular way, and we have finally understood why the child was behaving like say if the son or daughter is behaving in a very good manner, because it was a chocolate, but you are happy with the behavior, then do you reward or you don't? Yes, Karthik ji?
I would. You would
Because you want to
reward.
encourage that behavior, isn't it? Because that is not for your personal gratification, but it is for the improvement of the child or the individual in concern. And
Yes.
exactly, yes, yes, absolutely. All right. So that is exactly what we see Krishna doing. He is going to comply to that request. One more thing, people like Krishna a lot because he complies very easily. So that is why a lot of people keep, having that Sakha bhav, please Krishna, do this. And then they get the experience. Let us see what Bhagavan says. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Hantate Kathayashyami Divya Hyatma Vibhutayaha Pradhanayataha Kurushrestha Nasyanto Vistarasya Me. Shri Krishna spoke, yes, I shall speak to you of my representatives divine, but only some forms that are most prominent and fine. For my manifestations, O Arjuna, there is no end. All across the universe, it is only I who extend. He says, I extend across the universe. There is no end to my manifestations. But you have asked, and he says, yes, I will lend you, but I will tell you only about the most prominent forms that can be understood by you, because otherwise there is no end to my forms. How true is that, isn't it? Imagine Krishna going from quark level and starting everything from quark to the what is the greatest from nano level to the macro level. He will go from femto to the highest. How is it going to be possible for Arjuna? So he's going to share only that which is relatable to Arjuna. And interestingly, Arjuna is also very ancient for us, no? He is so many thousands of years before us. So maybe all of these, like for us, Narada, Devala, Vyasa, these are all people Arjuna has seen. But for us, we've only heard stories of. So maybe all of these will not fully, these will be some of the Vibhutis. We may just hear about them, but not perfectly connect. We can probably note them down and try to see if we are very interested in trying to understand. But let us see Krishna giving Arjuna a share of his prominent Vibhutis, which Arjuna can meditate and think upon. Let us see. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarvabhuta Shayasthitaha Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanamanta Eva Cha. Oh Arjuna, it is myself that abides, and within all beings my divinity resides. For every living being, big and small, it is I who am the beginning, middle, and end of all. Arjuna, my divinity is present. Where? Every living being. I am that Atma. I am Atma, Brahma. I am that Atma. I am that realization of supreme consciousness which is hidden but present everywhere in every individual. Can we say anybody is less? At least on the basis of this shloka, can we say this person is inferior? This person is a lower divine, or that person is higher divine? No, each of us are equidistant, and each of us are equally pure, and each of us has that inherent divinity. That's one thing Krishna is saying. And he says, I am the beginning, I am the middle, and I am the end of all. He goes on further. He says, Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisham Raviransuman Marichi Marutam Asmi Nakshatrana Maham Shashi. So among Adityas, the seven suns, I am Vishnu, the most radiant. So you see, in the Rig Veda, we have the various devas which are considered Adityas, so many of them. There are so many names. But among them, he says, I am Vishnu. I'm Vishnu, the most radiant. It's very interesting. The Vishnu of the Rig Veda is slightly different from the Vishnu of the Puranas. In the Rig Veda, he's described as a divine, majestic bull radiating a golden light. It is very interesting. But he says, among these brilliant suns, I am Vishnu. And among the lights, what am I? Well, I am the most brightest light. Which is the brightest light for people on earth? Anybody?
Sun.
Yes, absolutely. It is the sun. So it is among the brilliant lights, among the splendorous lights, I am the brilliant sun. And probably that is why many in the morning they look at the early rays of the sun and start offering prayers. Or the Gayatri mantra is offered to the Surya. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Why? I want my intelligence to be awakened by that brilliant light. May that light dispel the darkness of ignorance inside of me. Let it awaken the Chetana. Let me get what we can say driven higher into the higher consciousness by meditating upon you. So among the brilliant lights, among the splendorous lights, I am the brilliant sun. Among Maruts, the storm deities, I am Marichi, the mightiest one, and I am moon among the constellations, most prominent. This night sky, we know the stars are brighter and all of it, but which is appearing most prominent from the Earth's point of view for us? It is the moon. The moon is visible clearly in the sky, and he says, I am that. Ayurveda gives a lot of importance to moon. Chandrama Manaso Jataha is what in Jyotish Shastra they talk about the Chandrama being a karak of the mind, or the mind being affected and influenced by the moon. This, I think many have experienced. If you become conscious, you will be able to also see ki, Are, am I also functioning? Is moon having my life's remote control? Or am I having it with sadhana? I'll have to change. Because today there is what we can say, Amavasya, I am thinking in this particular way. It's really important if you actually go and see the flow. And we are very much connected, but we don't realize it. A friend of mine, our teacher actually of mine, who is from another dharma, he belongs to another dharma and he has a child with special needs. He tells me he doesn't know about Jyotish Shastra. He doesn't know about all of this. He says, today I cannot talk to you because today is whenever there is full moon and whenever there is Amavasya. My child behaves very differently and I cannot go to sleep early because there is a weird reactions. I'm very angry and agitated all the time. Yes, Karthik ji wants to say something?
Yeah, similar example. A friend of mine who's also from a different dharma altogether.
Hmm.
She's a psychological. She's a counselor.
Hmm.
So she also has made mentions that every full moon, every Amavasya, that all counselors get together and they chart out when the full moons are, because those are the times that majority of their patients actually have spikes in their
Behavioral pattern.
behavioral pattern.
Wow, wow. That's beautiful. Actually, clinical trial must be done to very nicely document this. It will be very beautiful. But this is a truth. And it is said that, because anyway, we will not go deeper into it right now, but this aspect of the moon is there. People don't fully realize it, but it is there. Yes, Dr. Swarupa, you want to say something? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have also seen that patients' skin complaints, they
Sorry?
increase skin complaints of the patients like psoriasis and eczema.
Ha 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 ha. Ji, 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 ji.
They increase during full moon.
This is your lived experience as a practicing doctor, isn't it, Dr. Swarupaji? Not a
Yes, yes.
superstition.
No.
Yeah.
It's an experience, and
Yeah.
they say, and then after, like, patients would have said this, and then time and again I would have practically seen it.
Ji, ji, ji. Absolutely. Because it is said to be the karak of the mind, and there's something called psychosomatic link in the body. So the mind has an effect on the body as well. And that is why with dhyana, with sadhana, we can actually overcome what are these impositions upon us. And that is why sadhana must be done in the first place. But again, moon has its greater positive aspects also. The medicines get their value in the moonlight only. In the Ayurveda, it is said to be that the medical potency is increases. They did not study the Krebs cycle and everything and what we learned in school in botany and all, what happens in the night. But they understood that yes, so don't pluck the plants. They are conscious. In moonlight, never. This is the time they are actually growing. This is the time which they are getting their medical potency. Harvest it in the day, not in the night. Of course, there are some herbs which are harvested specifically in the night. But that is also done consciously, understanding the blooming period as well. So let us continue. Krishna goes on. He says, Vedanam samavedosmi, devanam asmi vasavaha, indriyanam manaschasmi, bhutanam asmi chetana. I am Samaveda amongst the Vedas. The most beautiful, rhythmic, melodious, musical Veda. It is Samaveda. And he says, among Vedas, you'll see me in the rhythm of the Samaveda. I am Indra, Lord amongst the gods, the Devas. So who is the Raja of the Devas? It is Indra. If you want to see me among the Devas, look at me. I am that king of Devas only. I am Indra. And then who is the Raja of the Indriyas? Indriyas in the senses, isn't it? In our body. So who is the Raja of the Indriyas?
Mind.
Mind. Exactly, Aditi. He says, Manaschasmi is what Krishna says. He says, amongst the senses, I am mind. In all living beings, it is my consciousness that you will find Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. This Chetana is there, this consciousness is there, this consciousness is present in all living beings. That has to be awakened. He goes on further. Radranam Shankaraschasmi Vitteshu Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikhari Namaham. This shloka gives a lot of heartburn to people who have Dvaita Bhava about Devas. My God is more powerful. A lot of imaginary world intergalactic wrestling matches take place between Devas in the minds of the Bhaktas. Vishnu versus Shiva. Suddenly, this shloka dispels that notion about Shiva and Vishnu being different. Amongst the Rudras 11, I am Shankara, the Lord. So Krishna is saying he and Shankara are one. There is no difference. I am Kubera, prosperity and wealth's overlord. Amongst demons and nature spirits benevolent, I am god of fire. Amongst Vasus, Meru, of the peaks magnificent. Among the peaks, I am Meru. Among the Devas, I am the Agni Deva. Rigveda begins with the Agni Sukta because he is the first god. And look at the Agni. How is Agni? Always moving upwards, isn't it? It is something which is keeps going on higher and higher, and he's the symbol of the fire inside of us. Agni me purohitam yajnasam devarutvijam. He is the priest of the sacrifice. Agni Devata himself. He is the one who is going to invite all the gods to the Bhuloka. You are going to send the invitation with your aspiration and offerings, and he is going to be the bringer of the gods and also the strengths and the powers. That is how Agni is recognized. And that is why the first and foremost god in the Rigveda is Agni. Krishna says, I am Agni also. If you want to see, I am Kubera. Sometimes people have a lot of wealth, isn't it? Absolutely, they are like Kuberas only. We can understand it's not just like that. They have received some prosperity. There is a hand that is guiding that person also. It is something which is there. If you see Kubera also, people say Kubera is different, Shankara is different. No, Shankara's grace function on Kubera, and that is why Kubera became what he is. So that Dvaita is not required, but recognize it. Recognize is what Krishna is saying. Even among the Rudras, I am Shankara. He goes on further. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vidhi partha bruhaspatim senani namaham skandha sarasamasmi sagara. Oh Arjuna, know and understand me to be amongst the reservoirs of water. I am the oceanic sea. Bruhaspati, the chief amongst the demigods. I am Skanda, the commanding battle lord of lords. Krishna says this. He says, understand me to be whom? The reservoir of water. I am the, among reservoirs of water, I am the sea. How is the sea? Samudra. It's vast, isn't it? And just looking at the sea, has anybody experienced that itself to be a meditative experience? Anybody who has watched oceans from close? We're very lucky here in Pondicherry. We have a sea, wonderful seashore. Yes, Manisha ji. Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, as I stay close by
Ji.
near the sea, so
Hmm.
I've always been experiencing like opening up, like finding myself much bigger than what I usually know I am. So my view,
Okay. It
uh,
broadens, becomes broad. Okay.
yes,
All right, Manisha ji. So yes, this is something, a broadening of consciousness is associated with the sea also. Looking at it, you look at the horizon and suddenly maybe you start seeing new horizons in your life only. Swami Vivekananda had talked about it as one of the meditative experiences, just even looking at it. And Krishna is saying this. Anybody knows the motto of the Indian Navy? What is the slogan? Channo Varunaha. Varuna is the Deva of the Samudra. And you see, study the Varuna Sukta. He is the one who knows all the paths of the seas. He knows about the aerial routes also. The spies of Varuna are everywhere. And here they understand no matter how wonderfully and technology strong they have developed their vessel, they need the grace, need the grace of the sea. And so the first thing the Navy is learning to is Bo, Channo Varuna. May your grace, O Varuna, may the seas be nice to me. May the seas be helpful to our mission. That is the aspiration that they all have. And Krishna says, see, if you want to look at the water bodies, look at that. Because it's a very special experience, just even looking at the sea and meditating on it. Look at the waves. How many waves? Where are they coming from? Where are they going? They're again merging. Each wave is different. Each wave is unique, and yet each wave is similar. Sometimes our life also, we start going into a meditative experience. Our days are becoming into waves. Are we also swimming in, this Vishwa is also called Sansara Sagara, isn't it? Arjuna is being told in once more, Mukti Sansara Sagara, from I will deliver you from this sea of life. Well, this is something which parallels can be drawn as you go deeper. But Krishna says, see, the Samudra also is one of my Vibhutis. Yes, Chaitanya ji.
I
Yes, sir.
think this is interesting that those, I mean, like Indian Navy, they're supposed to rule seas, and first thing that they're doing is they're going and surrendering to the sea, saying that please take care
Yes,
of us.
yes, isn't it? And they are the one of the strongest. And this is something which most of, if you see each of these, even the army, they have so many different, each of these regiments, they have a spiritual slogan. They have a spiritual slogan. This is one thing which is very unique to the Indian forces. And that is why Indian forces are regarded also one of the most best, because they work at very high altitudes, which normally other forces will not be able to work. Greatest of greatest challenges, and yet continuous motivation. How are they doing it? We civilians are very unaware, isn't it, of the military life and challenges. But this aspect of divinity is there. That is something. Our forces are not called, they are called defense forces. They can do the attack even if anytime they want. But no, they are restraining themselves. We are not trying to send our bases outside and set them up to expand. There's something, a great motivation is there. And Krishna says, see, Samudra also is here. Brihaspati, he says, I am Brihaspati, chief amongst the demigods. And I am Skanda, the commanding battle lord of lords. So I am Kumara, I am Kartikeya. I am that Kartikeya who is the commander of the armies of the gods. Another name for Kartikeya is Skanda. His role is to be the leader of the armies of the gods. He says, I am Skanda. Recognize me in Skanda and recognize me as Brihaspati. Devanancha Rushinancha Gurum Kanchana Sannibham Buddhibhutam Trilokesham Tannamami Bruhaspatim is what is said in the Navagraha Shloka. So Devas also bow, all of them. Rishis also bow. It is that Bruhaspati. So recognize me. Recognize me as Bruhaspati if you wish. Krishna is not being very fussy about this. He says you can see in so many places. So he mixes up with what is visible, which is Vyakta, what is Avyakta, they can be connected with also. Maharshinam Bhruguraham Giramasmi Ekam Aksharam Yagnyanam Japayagnyosmi Sthavaranam Himalaya. I am Bhrigu amongst the great sages, so I am Bhrigu Rishi. I am Himalaya, the greatest among mountain ranges. So Bhrigu Rishi you can just search. There's a Bhrigu Samhita also. Anybody has heard of it? Yes, Aditi, can you share something? Anything you know about it?
Is it for, I've heard of it, is it for medicine?
No, that is
I-
Sushrut Samhita. That is Sushruta Samhita or Charaka Samhita.
Then I don't know precisely.
I think it's connected with Jyotish Charya. That is this Jyotishi, according to Bhrigu Samhita. People can even identify certain aspects which are hidden. They say even lifelines can be understood by it. Of course, you need that Shastra Vidya to understand it, not just by studying it and trying to logically try to decipher it. But says, I am Bhrigu amongst the great sages. I am Himalaya among the great mountain ranges. So, how is the Himalaya? The great, anybody has had a darshan of the Himalayas? Yes, would you like to share it with us? I'm way down in the south. I'm in Pondicherry. I'm not gone there. I've only heard about it from people. Yes, Dr. Swarupaji wants to share. Yes, please.
Yes, I have been doing trekking and I have been trekking Himalayas.
Huh.
So every time you are there, it is like a divine touch. And I mean, every time I cry, and
You feel
every time
overwhelmed.
tells,
Okay.
yeah,
Ji.
every time it tells me how insignificant you are and how mighty he is. And there are so many feelings probably which can't be covered, but yes, you can get a divine darshan just being.
Ji, absolutely. Close to the home of Shiva, isn't it? The royal place. He's not going to live in some bungalow or anything. Himalaya is only the Nagadi Raja. How from here, east to west, how it spreads. That is the home. Indeed, indeed. So Himalayas, the range of mountains, that is I. Then I am amongst words Om. Om is what? It is the primordial sound of creation, the word of Genesis. Aham, Asmi, Ekoham, Bahusyami. This aspect, how did it happen? The manifesting of consciousness, the differentiation of consciousness. All of this is said to have originated from this Nad, which is called the Brahmanad, and that is Om, is what Krishna is saying, the sacred syllable of creation. And amongst the ways of worship, I am Japa, silent chants, repetition. So among the types of prayers that can be offered, I am Japa. Anybody? What is Japa?
It's
Yes.
Dhyan.
Dhyan. Dhyan of what? Means how do we do that, Ji? Japa is generally, means Dhyan is, how do we connect Japa and Dhyan, Jayati Ji?
It's on regular basis in the morning and then in the
You
evening.
repeat it, isn't it? Some mantra is repeated again and again. And why do we repeat it that way? Just what do you think is the reason we repeat it? Mananat prayati iti mantraha.
Remember the divine.
Yes, thinking about the divine, it is said by repetition, it protects the mind. Suddenly, a logical mind will ask, how does it protect? They don't understand the working of the mind only. But when a repetition of mantra is done, what happens? It reinforces it into your consciousness. Say Rama, Rama, Rama. Rama has so many meanings, Roman, so many associations that we can have. So many pathways of our memories can be opened with that only. Because see, Karunamaya Rama, think of that bhava of Rama, and suddenly you start feeling the Karuna inside of you. If you see Rama as the brave one, his bravery comes into you by repetition of these mantras. And many times it is done silently. It is done loudly also, but it can be done silently. Many people have a type of mantra always going on, meaning they may be talking to you, but on the inside, the mantra chanting is going on. Why is that? Well, it is again, it's forming a kavach for the mind from outer influences, and you are having you're conscious, your your mission is clear. And when you are in a mission, can you get deviated? You cannot. And that is why the mantras help. The mantras make you strong, druda. Your what we can say, chitta shuddhi also takes place, and drudata also means firmness in of your mind also is done. And it can be done silently. Many of these adhyatmic methods, they are done silently only. So silent that maybe nobody else may know about it also. And japa is one of those silent meditation techniques. Otherwise, sometimes there are some people, you see, you call them on the stage also, they have their japa mala outside. And then they're on the stage and then they want to show, this is japa I am doing. So on the I've seen that. And as if they have one more. I don't want your buri nazar, so I'm going to cover it with a cloth and still continue doing it. Well, it's okay, it's all right. Everybody has, but it should not be done for showing others. It should be done for your own on the inside, silently. Gupta. Some sadhanas are best, which are called Gupta sadhanas. And this is one of the great sadhanas. Damliji said when he was a young executive, when he had this briefcase in his hand also, every step he said, I would try to couple my walking because you had to walk a lot of distances that time. And that time he said, I would couple it with a mantra at all times. And he said that when you are continuously in this lay of mantra all the time, it starts happening throughout the day without your knowledge also. When some people are, they write, they have a counter also. Mantra counter devices are available nowadays. People count. But who is going to count ultimately? And whom are you going to show? Let Chitragupta count, do his accountancy, divine accountancy. Our job is what? Keep doing. Let the Nirantar sadhana go on. Let it go on continuously. Ajap goes on without knowledge inside of you. And he would say each step taken would have a mantra going on. What are its experiences? Why do we need to know from somebody else? Let us try. Let us experience what differences make. Interesting, I had to use a paper by some Western scholar because we have very little literature available on Indian traditional wisdom. So this was a nurse, she had said, and I even saw her video, which was very funny. Mantram is different from mantra. Dvitiya Vibhakti is different from first Vibhakti. I don't know. But she wrote a paper, she said about how it is helping in work. But at least that was commendable. That was acceptable. Instead of drawing, making fun of her only, you can also try to see. Though she gave very weird interpretations of each of these mantras. What was Hey Ram? She said that is mantra of Gandhi. Then Shiva's mantra, Om Namah Shiva, mantra of peace. Not they're not gone inside at all. But at least something superficially she has tried to say that this mantras are beneficial in her research, and she's as a nurse she had experienced it. Well, let us all also try to see. This is a very easy sadhana that way to be done. If we try, it requires a little bit of efforts, but definitely. So I am there in Japa also. Krishna goes on, he says, Ashvatthah sarvavrukshanam devarshinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitraratha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Amongst the most sacred trees, I am the Ashvatha tree. I am Chitraratha, among the heavenly beings free. Among the divine sages, I am Narada Muni, and among perfected saints, I am Kapila Muni. He says, divine sages, look at Narada. He's always in connection with me, so he's able to traverse any realm with my presence. That is Narada. Among sages, if you want to see the divine sages, look at Narada. I am Narada, is what Krishna is saying. And then among the greatest saints, he says, I am Kapila Muni. Those saints who perfected, they went through the Siddhi. Like Krishna talked about Janaka, Raja. He gave an example of Janaka Raja. Like that, he says, among these great munis, look at Kapila Muni in terms of the Siddhis, how he got it. Amongst sacred trees, I'm Ashwatha Vriksha. Ashwatha Vriksha is, anybody knows this? Ashwatha?
People tree.
People tree. Its name is also Ficus religiosa. It is something which is a tree that is said to be the tree under which Gautam Buddha also attained his enlightenment, isn't it? And also, it is one of the trees that gives oxygen even at night. The Ayurvedic medicinal aspect aside, it is a very special tree. It is a very sacred tree. And Krishna says, recognize that tree in the Ashwatha. I am present. Krishna goes on. He says, Uchchai Ashwanam Middhi Mam Amrutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Cha Naradipam. Know me to be Uchchai the best horse that came to be, born of nectar that arose from the churning of the milk sea. I am Airavat, the lord of elephants, white and regal. I am the one king, and all mankind are my subjects loyal. So Krishna says, I am the Airavat, I am the Raja, this Bhuloka, everybody in the Bhuloka are my Praja. I am the king, and all living beings are my subjects. Are you? Somebody wishes to ask some? No. All right. So, and I am Uchchai. If you see the churning of the, what we can say, Samudra Manthan that took place, the divine churning, various divine entities were born in that churning, is what it is understood. Among them was Uchchai, that great horse. He says, it is I. Then Ayudhanam Aham Vajram. Dhenunam Asmi Kamadhuk. Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha. Sarpanam Asmi Vasuki. I am Vajra, the divine thunderbolt amongst the weapons in battle. Vajra is the weapon, most powerful weapon of Indra, isn't it? It's a very interesting story of the origin of Vajra if you want to study it. It was given by the Rishi himself. He used me for becoming the Vajra. A lot of symbolism is there. A lot of symbolism is there in all our stories. We don't have to dismiss it as myths. Instead of that, try to identify what is the basis of theology in it. You will understand. Make it mythology, it will become all like action-packed movies that you see. And interestingly, the Abrahamic faiths are not called mythology. They are called theology. And nobody has proof for that way also, for the theological understandings and beliefs. But nobody questions them that way. But in our Bharatiya Parampara, we have the, what we can say, tendency of dismissing everything as mythology. But let us go deeper. So here Krishna says, I am Vajra, the divine thunderbolt amongst weapons in battle. I am Kamadhenu, the wish-yielding divine cow amongst cattle. I am Kandarpa, the cupid that motivates procreation among single-headed serpents. Vasuki is my manifestation. I am Vasuki, is what Krishna is saying. I am Kandarpa, the Kamadeva, who is procreating, who is creating that spirit of procreation inside of all living beings. It is I. Again, we see a divinity also, which people sometimes dismiss as undivine. Well, there is the essence of divinity, it must be understood. Kamadhenu, I am the divine wish-yielding cow, and I am Vajra also, the thunderbolt, the divine one. Anantaschasmi naganam varuno yadasamaham pitrunam aryama chasmi yamaha sayama tamaham. The best amongst the Naga races, I am Ananta. Ananta Naga, I am that. What is Ananta Naga? Anybody? Anyone? And have you heard of Anantanag?
Anantanaga.
Yes, Ji.
So, Anantanaga is the related to Sri Krishna.
Yes, to Vishnu, he rests on him, isn't it?
Yeah.
He rests on
Is
him.
it, isn't that Sheshnag?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And somebody will ask why he doesn't have a bed. Why does he have to be like that on the Naga only? Well, this is a different. Anybody has heard of Milky Way?
Yeah. Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, Milky Way and galaxy. According to the modern understanding, how does the Milky Way look like? A coiled serpent, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? So that becomes very believable. We can say Akash Ganga sounds bad, Milky Way sounds good. The Anantnag concept, no. How can the creator of the Srishti ever exist on something that looks like a serpent? But no, according to science, it can look like this. Well, this is an interesting aspect that Krishna is saying, Chalo, meditate and see this. Why is he asking? It's not for his gratification that he says, see, I'm here, I'm there. There are some people who want to say, like, when when two sides are playing, whichever side is winning, I am that side. It is not like that. Krishna is saying divinity, which is the highest divinity, can be understood in the most beautiful and most miraculous of manifestations. And here, look at this, is what he says. Focus on the Ananta. You will see. Again, name itself is what? Ananta. Endless. That which is wide, that which is. So it's a beautiful aspect of Sanskrit that the root words are also there to take you ahead in your consciousness. If you understand its meaning also, sometimes that is why if you don't understand meaning also, sometimes mantras are useful. Because slowly it starts creating this, your Chetana. The Shabda itself is a conscious word of creation. We may not be conscious, but the words are conscious themselves. That is why Bhagavad Gita part or even Rig mantras, they are chanted. Why are they chanted? It is for awakening that consciousness which is sleeping, that which is not yet awakened. And the beautiful aspect is that consciousness is present in every individual, every single individual. Goes on, I am Aryaman, the father of the deified ancestor. I am the death god Yama, who is justice's upholder. Again, Yama is impartial, isn't it? Upholding justice, going along with the karmic marga, always upholding what is right. What is right according to the divine law, not what is right according to you and me. According to you and me, we would say what Aurangzeb should not have such a long life. And Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, why does he have such a small life? Or look at his son, Shambhaji Maharaj, what a horrible death. Yama, were you heartless? Why did you do that? Well, Yama is, he will not say heartless. He is detached and performing his duty. He is upholding what is a Nyaya. Nyaya is a divine law which is being upheld at all times. We may not agree with it. We may not like it at all. But it's not about our liking, isn't it? The higher law of the universe is something beyond our own likes and dislikes. And Yama understands it regularly, dutifully. Yes, we'll just go on probably to two more shlokas and then we'll stop. प्रह्लादश्चस्मि दैत्यानां कालः कालयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्. I am Prahlada amongst the titans of might. Among measurements, I am time that never stops day or night. Among forest beasts, I am the lion king of kings. I am Garuda, the king eagle, amongst the birds of wings. Krishna says, see, I am Prahlada among the titans. So if you want to be a titan also, Asura, big wheel of Asura like Prahlada, isn't it? Was he anyway different from a Deva? No. And that is how Prahlada was. And he was corrected with the divine all the time, irrespective of what was being forced or imposed upon him from the outside. So recognize me as Prahlada. Sri Aurobindo also has talked in his hymn to Kali. He has talked about Asurasya Udyamam Shakti Dehi. Give me that strength of the Asura. Why should we not have the strength of the Asura? But let us have the guna of the Deva and the strength of the Asura also. So everywhere that which is best, we have to receive it. We have to use it. For what? Not for selfish reasons, but for the divine work of the universe that is unfolding in any way. He goes on further. He says, amongst measurements, I am time. Kala, kalaya tasmai namaha. Who can stop time? Other than the cartoon comic heroes, nobody can stop time that way. Because that will not. The moments that come, many times certain moments come in life, we miss them. We turn them away. Then they don't come again in the entire Janma. We have to pray, please give me once more that moment. But sometimes we cannot do anything because Kala is like that. That is why a sadhak must be conscious. Sometimes people turn away the divine. Divine is there. We said Atiti Devo Bhava, like that. Bhagwan is knocking on the door. Let me in. जाओ, time नहीं है मेरे पास. मुझे आशीर्वाद नहीं चाहिए, अभी मुझे धन चाहिए. You say, okay, fine, bye bye. And he goes away, and you're not going to get that chance again. Instead, let us become conscious of the divinity of every moment because time is not going to come to us. What time we have today will not be with us tomorrow. So that is why we have to become conscious. And that is why time also, recognize time as divine. Yogis are that way transcending time also, but they recognize the divinity of the time as well. That is what Krishna is asking. Become conscious. The words of the yogi are perfectly, they are bound by time. Sometimes they say something which happens afterwards. People say, how was this person? Was he Kalatita? Was he knowing about the Trikala? What is happening? No. He's conscious and he's connected with the time, and that is giving him the necessary wisdom to understand. That is what we can see. Amongst forest beasts, I am the lion king of kings, the majestic Raja of the jungle. I am Simha. And I am Garuda, the king eagle amongst the birds of wings. If you want to see me, look at Garuda and you can probably understand why this is my Vahana. It is Garuda is also I only. Krishna goes on, Pavanaha Pavatamasmi Ramaha Shastra Bhrutamaham Jashanam Makaraschasmi Srotasamasmi Janavi. We'll stop here. Oh no, one more shloka will stop. 30-second one. I am wind, purifying and swift moving. Amongst master warriors, I am Rama, the valiant and daring. I am the alligator amongst the aquatic creatures, and I am Ganga, the Ganges among pristine rivers. So I am Vayu. Vayu does not, it just moves around, isn't it? The wave of Vayu cannot be stopped. So I am Vayu, which is moving all the time. We are alive because of Vayu moving inside and outside, isn't it? Prana Vayu, Prana Apana. There are other Vayus also. Samana, Udana, all of that. What is it? These are all moving inside of us, which are keeping us alive. And that is the Vayu. The same Vayu is moving inside of you and me also, isn't it? We may be far away, but that same Vayu means it's like a conscious connection is there if we can look at it. Otherwise, we feel no, it is not. But it's actually the same thing which is spreading. And Vayu is so vast, you cannot exactly identify where it is. Among master warriors, I am Rama, the valiant, Rama, the daring. I am that Rama who can go and challenge Ravana for his life. I am that Rama, the valiant one, willing to take on all the risks. Recognize me to be Rama amongst the warriors. Among the creatures, of the aquatic creatures, I am Makara, or the alligator. What's special about alligator? It's both amphibious, isn't it? And there are other aspects also. Krishna is saying, look at me and you can see the Makara as me. And I am Ganga, amongst the most pristine rivers. Again, like the Himalaya Darshan, Ganga Darshan is something which is very special. It is said to be the most pure one. I have had the opportunity of not going directly Satya Pratyaksha, but to someone who brought the water of the Ganga. How beautiful it was, just touching it. It was just like, how beautiful, how pure. And it was kept in a bottle, and that bottle looks so clear. Means the other waters that we keep in a bottle in our factory, we do a lot of tests. So the water appears different after a particular time, but not the water of the Ganga. It is so pure. How is it? How is it so perfect? Well, there's an aspect of divinity in that also. Krishna goes on. He says, Sarganam Madirantasya Madhyam Chaiva Ham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vadaha Pravadatamaham. I am the beginning, middle, and end of all creation. I am the logic of those involved in debate and discussion. So the Tarka also, sometimes some debates are brilliant. We're not talking about the news debates which we see on the TV. They don't appear brilliant in any angle. But I'm talking about debates which are sometimes, you see, international relations are changed because of a wonderful debate. Sometimes one dialogue said at the right place at the right time, it has a great significance for humanity. Sometimes the logic, how it is being said, and that creates great differences also. So let us not underestimate the debates as well. But the tarka of the debate, which is a brilliant one, sometimes the tables turn completely also, isn't it? It starts off something and it ends elsewhere. How is it possible? How did this person receive that wisdom? Maybe something like Dadame Buddhi Yogam is happening behind the scenes. Even that individual may not be available, knowing, conscious of it. But that logic, that brilliant logic which is involved, we are talking about Shastravad also when it is done. They try to understand the Brahman through Tarka. Brahman cannot be understood by Tarka. But using this as a means, they ultimately transcend even the logic to receive what is something higher. So it is that is what Krishna is saying. I am that divinity. Then Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. I am that Adhyatma Vidya which is said to be the highest of Vidyas. That is higher than all philosophies, arts, and sciences. This is where we will stop today. So Adhyatma Vidya is higher than all sciences. That means all these sciences are inferior, isn't it? All material sciences, they are inferior. Are they? How do we reconcile with this? Because this is an approach. That is why Adhyatma Vidya is truth. This is all mithya. This is all false. Can we go on this path and create another new Dvaita between Adhyatma Vidya and other Vidyas? Anybody? What do you think?
No,
Yes, really.
it's not false. They're all connected because it is said that he is omnipresent.
Yeah. So it is so they are connected, we can say. All right. But it is higher. Aditi ji, yes, please.
Yeah, so like if they can all the other sciences can be considered branching out of
Okay,
Adhyatma.
they're all branching out of the one. Means
Only-
that is beautiful. Okay, that's so there's a continuity which is there, but somewhere they'll have to break their distinction or what duality to ultimately merge into what we can say the highest truth, for which there has to be what we can say a very base of truth consciousness must always be there. Only then you will reach. But probably they merge. Isn't it interesting? As you see, you must have seen your seniors. Aditi, you are in a what we can say. What are you doing right now?
I'm a software engineer.
You're a software engineer. All right. So maybe when you were in college, you would have seen a lot of professors doing multidisciplinary research, isn't it?
Hmm.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
how does it happen? Because there's this like this is different discipline, this is different discipline. There's no connection between these two disciplines. But no, there is. I was very surprised once when what we can call humanities. Humanities and medicine, what connection is there? No connection is there, but no, there is. One beautiful example is now Professor Arun Tiwari ji. He's a mechanical engineer. His Guru Kalam sir told him do something in the medical field. After successfully developing and launching a missile, he says use this technology for the medical field. Somebody who is not having Shraddha in Guru or somebody who is limited by logic will scratch and say this is Kshetra is different, this Kshetra is different. Don't try to force or merge these two Kshetras. But here his Shraddha in his Guru made him, Chalo, I will find out because I have been told. He said, okay, it's funny, a mechanical engineer entering into this field. But he developed India's first heart stent, coronary stent. He called it Kalam Raju stent. Look at that. The boundaries have been broken, isn't it? Or more than broken, we can say they're merging. The knowledge becomes one as you go deeper and deeper and higher and higher. And that is exactly the meaning of Adhyatma Vidya. Otherwise, we create fights. The scientists say the spiritualist is useless. The spiritualist says scientist is useless. And both are trapped in their Veda of Buddhi only. This will never understand. Material science different, spiritual science different. Sri Aurobindo has written the Savitri, and matter shall reveal the spirit's face. then what will happen? Both will embrace the scientist and the what we can say the spiritualist. Why should they have the dvandva there? That is something. Because even in my college, mechanical engineering versus electronics engineering, they were almost like gang wars. Mechanical engineers would, raise their collar, Royal Mech, that is what they used to call. And then I was a part of one, what we can say, clash, though I was not actively involved in it, but it was my mechanical engineering. It was the pride of mechanical engineering that was at stake, is what somebody had stoked all the emotions. And so we had gathered. Other side, one more group had come from electronics, and they were saying, we are greater. And that big fight was going on. Suddenly, one senior came who was doing MTech. He said, both of you are fools. Like Narada came at the right time. He came there and said, both of you are fools. Why? There is a subject which is going to come called mechatronics. Now everybody's scratching their head. We know mechanical to be different, electronics to be different. What is this mechatronics? Well, it's fusing both these two supposedly diverse branches, which are not diverse at all. So this aspect, Adhyatma Vidya, we say Sarvatram Samadarshana is what Adhyatma Vidya gives us. So why are we going to negate? Why are we going to negate? Yes, limitations of science are also there. But using them, we can probably go ahead and we can probably identify as well. But that is why it is important to recognize Adhyatma Vidya as the highest Vidya. But that does not mean others are inferior. Because Adhyatma Vidya is the Vidya which is giving Chetana, and that Chetana is slightly beyond what we call the logic. Physicists also have to take a leap of faith, isn't it? When they jump from classical to quantum physics, suddenly the gravity and classical laws stop functioning. Do we make fun of them for being religious? No. Why are you religiously believing in quantum laws and taking a leap of faith there? No, it is their right to have that because quantum applications are there in the practical also. Quantum rings calculations are useful for a number of practical devices as well. So this aspect of these two is to be understood. But Adhyatma Vidya being highest, that is the Vidya where Chetana is there, and from Chetana it can manifest anywhere, any place. So let us probably stop here at this point. With this, if somebody can summarize something, we will look at it, after which we can have the Shanti Mantra. And if any questions arise, we can look at them. Yes, please. Anybody? Hari Om. Yes, please. Can someone summarize what we saw? Anything today?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, Ji.
So from last time, so Arjuna continued saying that I have heard sages like Narada and everyone describing you, but you are, but they would know from where they exist, and you are the one from the beginning. So no one else will know fully about you. Only you can tell about yourself fully. So now I have, for me, what you are saying is Sabda Pramana. So please tell me about all your manifestations. What forms should I worship or contemplate or meditate upon? If is there any particular form, or should I meditate everywhere basically, because you are basically omnipresent. So there Shri Krishna starts explaining that that there is no end to my manifestations. They're limitless, but I will explain to you some which are prominent to you or which are more relevant to you, that's something you will be able to relate to. And from there he starts explaining about his different manifestations, like he is the Atma Brahman, that consciousness which is present in all, and which is he is the beginning, middle, and end for everything. He is Vishnu among the Adityas, the most radiant one. He is the moon, the rhythm of Samved, and he is also Indra and mind among all senses, and the Chetana. He also says importantly that, as you have highlighted, he is a Shankar among Rudras. So that Dvait between Vishnu and Shankar, he is trying to basically say that there should not be any Dvaita. He is the one present everywhere. He is the Kuber for prosperity, or he is the Agni. And also he's kind of giving examples where Arjuna could understand that the best of best, or the greatest of greatest, he is the one which is present everywhere. And while doing that, he also explains about Ashwatha tree, Himalaya, Kapil Muni, Vajra, and he is like that. I am also a Yama, the god of death and law, and uh, Anantanag, you can say. Then again, he is explaining that I am Om, the Brahmanath among the sounds. So like this, he goes on and explains about different manifestations, how best of best and purest of purest he is. And even when it comes to the vidya, he said that I am the adhyatma vidya. And as we just discussed, that no other vidya is lesser. It is just that probably adhyatma vidya is taking you towards the origin, and probably others are more towards studying the manifestations of that origin. So probably that is the only difference. But nowhere anyway it has been said that this vidya is lesser than other. Everything is important, everything is needed, and that dvaita should not be there.
Hari Om. Wonderfully said, Chaitanya ji. Thank you. That's a brilliant summary and very short. Thank you. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om. That's it. Krishna Mande, Jagat Guru. Jai Shri Krishna. If anybody has any queries, you're welcome, or we'll just wait for the participants to join.
Hari Om.
Ji, Hari Om ji. Namaskar. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Namaskar. Hari Om.